We are heading into fall foliage. I'm already seeing the colors outside.
Yeah, some things have certainly started. A lot of ash trees and some maples and a few other things are starting to turn. So we're getting there.
All right. So where are we at right now?
Yeah, I would say, we're looking like we're going to be pretty close to our typical, third, fourth week of October being peak. The nice thing about being in Seattle is we can grow a lot of different kinds of trees. We have generally a good climate for a good variety of deciduous trees. And so the season actually lasts pretty long. It's not just a couple of weeks. We get some good color into mid-November with some of our later developing species. But, the trick for us is, it was a dry spring and a dry summer, which is more typical. And so, trees maybe aren't as lush as they have been. So while color should be good, there may not be as much of it just because individual trees are not quite as, maybe as in exuberant growth as they can be some years when you get a little bit more even moisture during the growing season.
All right. So if we had more close to normal moisture, we'd just have more leaves.
Yeah, right. That's a better way of putting it. Yep.
Okay, so more leaves means more color.
Right.
And so we're dealing with a drought. Not only do we have fewer leaves, but the vibrancy of the color, that can also be impacted, both timing and intensity.
Yeah, a little bit for sure. Kind of what happens over the next few weeks will also help a lot. Drought stress trees, oftentimes will drop leaves early or turn a little early, be a little less vibrant. But for us, the ones that are on the trees and looking good, the leaves, if we get kind of continued warm days, and then if we start getting more crisp nights, if we started getting a lot of rain and a lot of warm nights, that's not going to be so great for fall color. But if we get some kind of clear days and cooler nights but still above freezing, that'll help extend the season into vibrancy.
So would you expect to have, you're expecting a typical timeline, would you also expect kind of typical vibrancy then during peak?
So far it's looking pretty good. I don't know when we'll, if we get some big heavy rain and some cloudy days and winds or something, that always affects things. But if we're kind of heading into a pretty mild, not too stormy early season, it should be pretty good.
Pretty good. Okay. And then you say third, fourth week of October will peak. What will be some of the varieties and what will be some of the colors?
Yeah, Japanese maples are always real consistent for us. Other types of maple trees are great. Mountain ashes. There's some ash trees are quite nice. You do get some conifers, deciduous conifers like larches or bald cypresses. You'll see in some of our parks they'll turn nice golden yellow. But my favorites tend to be the more intense reds and kind of even oranges and purples. And so you'll see a lot of those with maples and witch hazels.
Okay, so you have September, you have October, you have November, you have some even in July, you're saying?
Yeah, a few, not too many, but
we don't have the vibrancy of New England, but you would say we have one of the widest ranges.
I would say definitely one of the widest. And what's nice for us here is, we have all these evergreens, so it really sets off the colors real well. So you get these nice pops in the landscape. So yeah, definitely a longer season than you'll see back east. Less intensity, but a longer season.
Longer season than almost anywhere else in the country.
Yeah, I would say we're definitely right up there. Maybe some parts of the Appalachians and places where it gets not quite as cold as quickly, but definitely it's one of the better regions for sure for length of season for color.
Length of the season. All right, and right now we're already seeing. Are we approaching peak in some of the higher elevations of the Cascades?
Yeah, we're starting to get there. The higher elevations, it's a little tough right now with all the smoke and the haze to kind of really appreciate things. That might be affecting things a little bit, but definitely, the mountain passes. It's a good time to kind of get up to some higher elevations. A lot of the huckleberries and blueberries are starting to turn where you get those nice sweeps in the higher elevations.
Just out of curiosity, a lot of smoke in the air, especially late season, if that's drifting through a lot, can that impact wildfire color or fall foliage color?
Yeah, I'm told, I don't know as much about it, but I remember a few years ago when we had all that, there was some concern that could kind of dampen things a bit. So it'll be curious to see how that plays out. But, fortunately, unlike a few years ago where we had just intense weeks down here in the lowlands. This year is hazy, but not like choking hazy so far. So fingers crossed.
Okay, so it probably won't impact things much.
I don't think too much down here, but maybe in the smokier areas where it's more intense.
Obviously, where it's closer. Okay. Anything you want to add?
I think it's just, we're lucky. We've got a lot of great gardens and parks in Seattle. There's a lot of good places to see things locally, and just every year it's funny. People tell me, "Do you think this is the best fall color year we've ever had?" And I've been here for 30 years, and some are definitely better than others. But I think it's always a nice surprise for people. It's like when it happens, it's like, "Oh, that really looks nice," and then just kind of paying attention. So visit your local parks and botanic gardens and stuff. You'll see a good selection of things you may not just notice in the landscape.
Okay, great. Could you give us a little detail? Any specific locations if people can't leave town but they want to see some color?
Yeah, I mean, in the Arboretum, our woodland gardens are probably our best area. That's got a lot of layers of color from the treetops down to shrubs. The Japanese garden, Seattle Japanese garden, Kubota Garden in South Seattle's a wonderful landscape for that. And then some of our bigger parks like Green Lake and Volunteer Park have a nice selection of really nice fall color. So
okay, and given the smoke in both areas, both mountain ranges, where are some areas you would go if people had the time to drive out into the mountains or into nature? Are there any good spots you can recommend considering where it's all smoky?
That's true. Yeah, it's a little tougher with the smoke. I mean, typically, Stevens Pass is always great. Mount Rainier is getting a lot of smoke right now, so normally I'd say that area. I would say, yeah, just any of these mountain passes or higher elevations where there isn't too much fire nearby. Yeah, it's a little tricky this year, but definitely you're going to still see some certain things, but hopefully some of that will help clear up if we do get a little bit of rain and a little bit of dampening on that. Yeah, I think there's just a lot of variety out there. If you see something that you like, or visit your local nursery, it's a good time to select for fall color if you're interested in planting something in your yard, or even a container. But yeah, it's a really nice time to be outside if we get some of these sunny days where it's not raining. Just go out to your local park, and I think you'll be surprised and delighted by some color you may not be expecting.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.